Hello, Oracles! Tesla stock outperforming the market just ahead of Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow. So Tesla was up 0.25%, the S&P was down about 1%, and the Nasdaq was down just over 0.5%. So Tesla ended up finishing basically flat on the day at that 275 level that we have been discussing as a strong support and resistance. So today it shot past it immediately and then ended up trickling down at the end of the day. On the 5-minute chart, there was some heavy selling pressure volume coming in just at the last few minutes. So this is probably leading into the uncertainty of tomorrow. Looking at the charts, and tomorrow I will be going over in a live stream. I will do a live stream tomorrow so I can show you guys these charts that I'm talking about. And it looks like we are forming a nice pattern where we could be pulling down significantly. It's like, it almost looks like we need to close off that gap. And again, I'll show you guys tomorrow in the live stream. And if you do become a member of the channel, or if you're a patron, I am going to be making videos to show you guys how I find all the different patterns in the charts. I will be sharing all those videos over there for you guys, and I'll do some live streams as well so you can ask questions in a smaller group format. And so looking at the overall volume on the day, it was only 57 million shares trading hands, still relatively low volume. The RSI is down at 41, so still relatively low, but we could pull further down. Again, looking at how the RSI has tracked down as we have sold off, if we fill that gap down at 247, the RSI will most likely be under 30, and under 30 means oversold. That usually typically means that we are ready for a turnaround in the stock, and it will have some buying pressure coming in. So none of this has to play out, but just looking at the way the trend is going right now seems like that could potentially happen, especially with Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow. So there was an article that was put out by Newsbreak discussing how Jerome Powell and the Fed are looking to sharply increase unemployment. So this is kind of the dichotomy that we have right now. We have very high inflation, but we also have a very hot jobs market. So we're looking to, the Fed is like, it's hard to kind of balance those two, and we really need to get jobs, and fill those job positions that are opening. So the way I've been tracking this all along is just, we're kind of looking at an earnings recession coming up. We've talked about it before, how there's a lot of major companies out there who are doing hiring freezes, or they're just laying people off, or when people are quitting or leaving their job, they're just not filling these positions because they're anticipating this all coming, because when interest rates get even higher, they're going to have less money to be able to pay off their employees. And then if we are going to have an earnings recession and deflation coming in the future, that just means that they're going to have even less money out there to be able to pay these people. So if the Fed is looking to push this in this direction, they may be pushing it too hard, too fast. I don't know, obviously they go data point to data point. I don't know how this is going to play out, but it seemed like we were naturally moving in that direction. Now, got to remember that the Fed, when they make decisions with interest rates, it takes months for those interest rates to actually start affecting the economy. So if they continue to go as aggressive as they have, we may get to a point where we get a sharp turn in the natural course of events when it comes to the economy, and these interest rates could end up pushing that too far, too fast. Then we've got to get that U-turn. So we're waiting to see how this all happens, but it sounds like, maybe Jerome Powell is going to come out tomorrow and discuss some of this. We'll find out tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, because, if he's going to be discussing how they're going to really kind of push for unemployment to, have that sharp increase of unemployment to balance out the jobs market, we could see an ugly market going on tomorrow. And now, as I said this morning, I don't know what else Jerome Powell is going to say that he did not say last week, but we got, obviously the market reaction from last week's discussion and the FOMC meeting did not go well. We've had a massive sell-off between OPEC is going to be cutting 100,000 barrels of production. We've got the end of the quarter going on. A lot of things that are coming in right now to really create a big FUD storm. So again, this is my time to buy all of this fudge. And looking at Tesla in particular, in the past, I swear, literally every single time we get to peak fear and peak FUD, it literally has dumpster fires in the news. And so this time around, it wasn't specifically a dumpster fire, but it was the recycling plant fire that was going on in Giga Berlin with some paper and cardboard, and we had a mega pack fire that was going on over in California. So just fires, literal fire, like everything is on fire, and that is what ends up hitting the news, and that to me has signaled peak fear. So whether we're actually at the peak or not, or we have a little while left to go, it's every single time we have had FUD, there have been fires involved. And so what I have learned is fires in the news means fire sale on the stock. And every single time we have gotten through it. Now today, Elon was supposed to be starting his deposition for the Twitter case. He and Parag were supposed to be in there, and we had gotten news early in the morning that seems like this has been pushed off and they are not going in there. It actually seems like both Elon and Parag are asking to have this delayed. Now from Elon's standpoint, I have no doubt he really wants to focus on the end of the quarter deliveries, just as he did back in June. He was basically off of Twitter for an entire week to really push those, and we knew Q2 was very difficult. So he has been on Twitter a little bit more this time around, but I'm pretty sure he really wants to focus on that. And then we've got AI Day 2022 coming up on Friday, so Elon probably wants to focus on those things. So delaying this until maybe next week is the wisest thing that he can do. So they both put in for this, and because both sides have done it, they may actually get this granted. And another thing that I have noticed when it comes to all this peak fear and peak FUD that is out there is Tesla Q and the bears really come out in full force. It's so strange because the stuff that they bring up doesn't always relate to what the FUD is in the news, but they just seem to be so much more prevalent. I don't know if it's the algorithms that are making them more visible now. It's very strange, and sometimes, maybe my tinfoil hat is telling me that there's somebody behind the scenes switching algorithms intentionally to pull the stock market down or move it in certain directions. Maybe the shorts are like, all right, it's time to do this. People with money say, hey, let's change these algorithms to really push FUD and fear. We'll get this out into people's eyes. We'll get some more selling going on. I have no doubt that things like this do transpire and things like this do happen. So that's why for me, because I pay attention to little things like that, and I think that it could be true, maybe there's a little piece of truth involved in it, that to me is why I call it fudge, because I'm like, it's going to turn the other direction just as well. People who are manipulating the stock prices down are also going to manipulate the stock prices back up again. So if you play into their game and they cause fear and they cause you to sell, that is exactly what they want. Now you've got to do your own research and due diligence to see, is this just FUD? Is this a manipulation pulling down? Or is this something to really be concerned about? This time around, in my opinion, it is just FUD. It is something that I want to buy more during these times. That's why there is the saying, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. Because again, these manipulators will move the stock up as well, and they'll push it higher than it really should be. Now granted, many of us think Tesla should just go right to the moon now, but you do need to be realistic with it. And sometimes you get into that FOMO place where people are just buying because they're afraid it's never going to come back down. This is exactly what the manipulators want. And so this way, people who are holding the bag, we'll call it, at $1,200 pre-split, those people, I've talked to several of you in the comments, you understand long term it's not going to matter. You did not sell out. Some people do swing trades, so maybe you did sell at $1,200 and you bought back in lower. Congratulations, that's awesome. I try to do that in my IRA as well. So it's something that can be done, but for people who are playing just long term and you're not looking to swing, these are just the things that I pay attention to. And again, long term, it doesn't matter where you buy, in my opinion. But if you are looking to get in lower, these are just the things I pay attention to when it comes to market manipulation. And I see right now that things are getting manipulated downward based upon all the FUD, the news, the algorithms that I'm seeing with things popping up both on Twitter, YouTube, and other places, even just in the news itself. Seeing all of this coming out tells me that somebody is intentionally pushing the stock market down. Somebody is intentionally pulling down Tesla stock itself. So these are the times where I'm like, all right, it's intentionally getting pulled down. I'm going to buy more. And we've seen it in the past. When you buy at those lower levels during these fear and FUD times, that means that you are going to turn that stock around, because shortly thereafter, sure enough, positive news starts to come back in. I guarantee you're going to see it this time around. So you go ahead and mark it on your calendar, keep this video bookmarked for yourself, but I can almost guarantee that within a month or two from now, we are going to see a lot of positive news coming out for Tesla as well to turn the stock and go back up again. And who knows, it may not even take that long. But again, this is, to me, feels like it's being done intentionally. So that's why I'm buying more. And that's why I have started the Fudge program, where I am just going to be buying Fudge. And again, if you did not see the video this morning or haven't followed me in the past, Fudge to me is when there is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, grab extra. So again, to me, these are fudge times. I'm going to be adding more. I didn't add any more today because we were actually green. But with Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow, if we do end up pulling down, which is what I think we may end up seeing, I will add more. Now he comes out at 10:30, so usually the first hour of trading is what a lot of people call amateur time, because that's when a lot of people, the volatility is all over the place. You see the stock swinging, just like this morning you saw the stock swing very high, and then usually around that 11:30 mark when the European market closes, we kind of see things level off and balance, and that's kind of where we saw flat for the rest of the day. We saw a little fluctuations, but nothing like we saw in the beginning of the day. And then the last hour of the day from 3:30 to 4 o'clock here on the East Coast, you kind of see the same thing happen again. So these are the things that I pay attention to. So again, that first hour is going to be right before Jerome Powell speaks. I'm going to pay attention and I'll let you guys know what I see in the morning pre-market, in the morning video, just to say, hey, you know what? These are the kind of things I'm seeing. This is the direction we're moving. We can see a lot of fake outs in both directions. So, maybe we see a lot of selling going on, and maybe Jerome Powell speaks and we see the stock market go back up again. Lots of uncertainty, again, like we saw it last week. We saw the stock market running into the FOMC meeting, and then we saw the massive sell-off afterwards. And all this goes back to something I had mentioned months ago, back even when Elon was selling, and even Jerome Powell said it last week. Do not overreact. You can't overreact to things that are going on. That is exactly what is going to cause manipulators to get what they want. Your overreaction to either selling or buying is going to cause exactly what the manipulators want. They're going to cause more things to sell off. And then you got to remember, when more people sell off, the stock market falls quickly. A lot of people have sell orders that are put in at certain prices. So when those sell orders trigger, that causes the market to fall down even further, even faster, causing more sell orders to go through, causing that domino effect. That's basically what we saw over the last week. A lot of things happen quickly, causing this domino effect to happen. Eventually it stops, and there's a lot of people who just don't have those sell orders put in, or they're waiting to see what's going on, and then the things start to turn around. It's the natural course of events when it comes to the stock market, so just things to watch. So if you've got sell orders put in, that's fine. I just want to make sure you guys understand how things do end up moving in that direction. Some people had those sell orders put in at that 305 mark. They said, hey, if we're going to pull down this far, I've got my sell order in, they've got that 305, and then you watch it from there. So those who did that ended up doing well, because we were pushing up a little bit at that point, and we hit that 313 level, where that 313 level was a level that we were saying, hey, if we cannot break through that with strong volume, we're probably going to end up falling down. Sure enough, that's exactly what ended up happening. And then we watched that $300 level, that held, and then broke the next day. And we saw 289, that held, and then broke the next day. And then we saw 275 hold, and that's where we are currently. So we're just going to see if that can hold for even longer, and then take it from there. So again, these are just levels of support and resistance, not to say that they're going to hold forever, but we see them stop there on a daily basis every once in a while, or we see at least the stock price dance around that level for a little bit, and that tells us there's a battle going on between the bulls and the bears at those levels. And so some awesome stuff that I just got in my Cybertruck socks. Very, very excited about these. So what I'm going to end up doing in the future is when we hit 10,000 subscribers on this channel, I'm going to shave my head, which I know isn't a big deal, so I've got to do something else for you guys. I will be giving out 2 pairs of those socks. I'll be giving those away to you guys, and I'm going to be having t-shirts made up. So when we hit 10,000 subscribers on here, I'll do a whole special video just for that, to share it with you guys, to thank you all for all of your support. And for anyone who is a member or a patron, I will be doing a giveaway just for you guys as well. Let me know in the comments below, how do you think the market and Tesla stock is going to react to Jerome Powell's speech tomorrow? Do you think we're going to go up? Do you think we're going to come down? What do you think he is going to be discussing tomorrow that could be different from last week, that may move the market in one direction or the other? My personal feeling is I do think we end up pulling down further. I do think we see a turnaround coming Wednesday or Thursday in the stock, but then don't forget we do have the production and delivery numbers that are happening over the weekend, and if they do come in under expectations, which again, I still think even if they come in under expectations, we are still going to be hitting record production and delivery numbers, so we'll see how we react on Monday. But if we can fill those gaps on Wednesday or Thursday this week, I think we have clear sailing to at least climb into the next quarter. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. If you find any value in this video, please consider sharing it with others. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And again, if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have that Patreon. That link is also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.